What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one, the only Ash Brown, and this is the ashsaidit podcast. I appreciate you guys for all of your love and support. Over 1,800 episodes, 500,000 streams and growing. None of this is possible without you guys, so I thank you so very, very much. And what better way to set off Women's History Month than with a phenomenal woman, okay? This woman here, she has been featured on the New York Times list. She is also featured on the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, O Magazine. The list goes on and on. She has 13 nonfiction women's issues books to her credit. She also has a plethora of fiction novels also under her belt. She served as the vice chair of the mentoring committee of the Women's Leadership Board at the JFK School of Government at Harvard University. The one and only Susan Shapiro Barash. Hey, Susan.
Hi, Ash. Thanks for having me on today.
Thank you so much for joining us. Definitely appreciate you. All right, so Susan.
Thank you.
Certainly. Now, Susan, you've got an amazing background in history. So I don't want to just, pull through everything from birth till now, but I definitely want to jump in with you. When did you start writing?
When I was 6, I wrote a family newspaper, and I tried to sell it to family members, and my father told me I was charging too much, and that was it. I wondered if he was sexist even then. I wondered if my brother had written the newspaper, which he would not have. Would it have been okay to price it anywhere, right?
I know, right? Oh, wow. So for you, from that, did you continue throughout school to write, or?
Oh, totally. Yeah. No, I was really compelled to write, and I actually chose the college I attended because they had a famous writing program, and I earned an MFA in writing, and I always knew that I would be a writer, and I always knew that I would write about how women are positioned in society. I mean, I watched my mother and my aunts and my mother with her friends, and I always said to myself, oh, come on. I mean, is this all there is for them? And why do they accept it? So, things were changing by the time I got to school, and I've taught for many years, for over 20 years in the writing department at Marymount, Manhattan, and my topic has been gender.
Gotcha. Wow, so as time would go on and you're still writing and doing things and figuring out yourself and your career and your life, what do you feel was the catalyst for you turning this passion into your paycheck?
Well, as I said a moment ago, I've always been intrigued by how women are placed, societal prescriptions for women. And so for each of my nonfiction women's issue books, I wrote a book I've done 3 books on the role of white in contemporary society. And my latest book is a 30-year study on female infidelity. And, what that really means for women and why they embark on that journey. But I also did a book on sisters and mothers-in-law, and I wrote a book called Tripping the Prom Queen about female rivalry. And mothers and daughters have always really interested me. But for each of these studies, it was very important to me that I interviewed a diverse group of women, all different ages, race, religion, level of education, earning power, all across the country, rural areas, big cities, everything in between. Because what I write about are the emotional issues for women. If you're unhappy with your partner, husband, if you are jealous of your friend, if your teenage daughter or granddaughter is, really in trouble, it really doesn't matter where you went to school or how much you earn. It's all about, what women long for.
This is true. Wow. So stepping back a little bit into female infidelity, what do you feel influenced you to explore that topic a little bit more?
Well, this is my longest study. The book first came out in 1993. I started research in 1991, and the updated version is just out now, and actually it's a podcast, too. It's the book inspiration for a podcast. called She Wants More on iHeart, which was very exciting when they developed that. But the reason I wrote that book and did the research and spoke with a disparate group of women is because I was hearing about affairs. People were whispering about them, and I eavesdropped once on a commuter train, and I heard young women talking about it. And one of them was getting married in 2 weeks, and she was still seeing her old boyfriend. And I said to myself, wow, is this a trend, a phenomenon? Is this a piece of the pie of life for women? And so I began my research, and especially in the last 3 years, my latest research, during COVID, female infidelity is really, it's getting more common, and women are having a lot of cyberspace affairs and, virtual affairs, emotional affairs, as well as physical affairs.
Wow.
And as we're talking about women in their 20s who were just getting engaged maybe or just moving in with the partner to women in their 80s in retirement communities. That's what's so fascinating.
Oh, wow. Wow. So see, it doesn't discriminate. It could be at any part of the spectrum. I love it. Wow.
Yeah, and it really underscores how women feel. I mean, it's almost a form of self-care.
Right.
They're not getting what they want out of their marriages or primary, committed relationships, and they're looking for something very different. There are very few women who say, gee, my lover and my husband are similar. So whatever's lacking in the marriage or committed relationship and in the lover. And a lot of the women are saying to me, I was feeling invisible. I felt like, my husband couldn't hear me, couldn't see me, but this lover makes me feel heard and seen.
Wow. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, huh?
I think that's another aspect of it. Who were these men having affairs with all these decades, centuries, right? And why are the judgments so harsh for women?
Yes.
That's really what's so fascinating is that we live in such a patriarchal culture. And even though we've had great gains, we're not there yet.
No.
We're really not.
We're not.
You asked me what the progress is, and for Women's History Month, what we're really seeing is women who have more agency. But until there's equal pay for equal work in a capitalistic society, I don't see parity. I don't see equality.
No, not in the least, especially in the workforce. But that might be another topic for another day, Susan. we can spend time on that all day, every day, talking about equality in the workplace. It's very troubling. It is
because it's just blatant bias. It's blatant unfairness. And I'm often asked, well, can you explain the fact that women earn, what's the latest stat? I don't know, but it started at 50 cents on the dollar, 70 cents on the dollar, maybe we're up to 85 cents on the dollar. And why is someone even asking me that? Why does that even happen?
Exactly.
And it goes right to a patriarchal culture with male supremacy, where women are really set up to compete against each other. I mean, until women are not put in the place of limited goods, where we don't have enough pie, we won't have the opportunities that we deserve.
No, absolutely not. So I'm hoping that this next generation of women is going to help us all really push things forward for us, because it's not right. It's not equal. There's no way around it.
We really need almost like another wave of feminism.
Yeah.
We need enough women banding together to say, no more.
Not putting up with it.
In order to really facilitate change.
Yeah.
And a lot of women this is what concerns me too. Many women with whom I've spoken to have said, I really wish I earned the same as a man in the next cubicle. I do the same job. Or I really wish that my husband could understand what I need in this relationship. Or I wish that I didn't do more of the child care when I work the same hours as my partner. They all say that, but often we're stuck. And, well, can you give up that job even though you're paid less for the same job? Can you leave your husband even though he can't hear you and you're dissatisfied? Would you break up a family? So, it's circumstantially, a lot of times women are stuck. It's not that they're not aware.
Right.
It's that we're doing the best we can in an unfair society.
Yeah, you're right. You are absolutely correct on that one. Mm.
Mm-hmm. So, so what's ahead for women? If we have enough voice, anything is possible.
This is true. If enough of us band together.
You have to really, right,
Yeah.
if you really believe in it enough to gather everyone together.
If we can get that. Well, it's a work in progress, hopefully. But
I hope so. I agree with you.
But we got a long way to go. We really do. So, Susan, what future do you envision for women of today?
Well, I think that women are waking up.
Mm-hmm.
I, see in my research that we are more realistic about, picking and choosing our battles wisely.
Yeah.
But I think that women we know these stats, that there are more women in colleges and graduate schools in America than there are men now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really notable. I mean, we won't even get into, why aren't the men there?
Exactly.
Because they should be, because education is everything. But it opens doors. It's really about opportunity. But if women are really strong and if they really voice what they know is right, then I see real improvement. But if we are always compromising and we're always acrobatic and we're surviving, which I think you and I talked about before we even went live today for a moment, what is survival and what is ambition? We need more women in government and politics. We need more women everywhere.
Yeah.
And if that happens, and when that happens, then I see a better world. Yeah. More female leadership, more women learning what they should, more women secure enough to leave what doesn't work and to decipher what will work. If women can do all of this, then things will be great. Yeah. So it's really up to us, women of all ages, to really take charge. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Thank you. 110%. Great. I mean, okay, so then let's get the word out. All right, let's get it spreading. All right. So all my listeners, this is a challenge to each and every one of you. Wherever you are, whatever community that you're in, things aren't right. Let's band up together. Let's make a change. One person. That's all it takes. One person to start get the catalyst moving, get the ball rolling, and you never know what future could be ahead. You never know. Oh, good. Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. I'm really, we're cheerleading together. Absolutely. Susan, thank you so much for joining us today. We so appreciate you coming through. And I would love to have you back on the program again. I know that you've got a lot of things coming in throughout the year, so new announcements and stuff. I'd love to have you back. Absolutely love that. I would love to come back. Let me know. Definitely. Susan, let everyone know the best way to reach you and, of course, to follow you across social. I love to hear from people. So reach out through the website, of course. It's SusanShapiroBarash.com, and follow me on Insta, all of it, all the social media. I'm there. Awesome. Thank you so much. Definitely appreciate that. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for all of your love and support. Keeping in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do. You look them square in the face, you tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.